We're now joined by Daniel Berg, the co-founder of NextUp. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thank you for having me.
Daniel, we hear that you have won a BAFTA.
Yes, it was for a show called The Amazing World of Gumball. It was on Cartoon Network. It was a really great show to work on. So yeah, if you're about later on tonight, feel free to give it a watch. It's very good.
Okay, maybe later. And apparently at this year's Edinburgh Festival, you scouted over 100 shows.
Yes, it's worth mentioning that wasn't just me, it was my co-founders as well, but between the three of us we were up there seeing 6 to 8 shows a day for the month, and as you can imagine there's a bit of variance in terms of quality, but it's really exciting catching the new big shows and trying to get them on our platform.
Yeah, so fun, work and fun.
It is, yeah. I think it would be a bit mad to complain about having to professionally see a lot of comedy at the Fringe, so yeah, it's really good.
So are you ready to pitch?
I am indeed, yes.
10 minutes.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Daniel and I am the CEO of NextUp Comedy, and we were created to solve 2 huge problems in the stand-up comedy industry. And as a bit of background to the industry itself, every year around 500 comedians take hour-long comedy performances to the Edinburgh Fringe, and these vary from sketch, character, storytelling, traditional, more observational types of stand-up show. They last an hour long and they play to sell-out crowds, win awards and gain critical acclaim. However, after the Edinburgh Fringe, they disappear without any recorded trace. And these aren't just shows from rising stars, they're also shows from some of the biggest names in comedy like Jimmy Carr, Peter Kay, Bill Bailey, the Cambridge Footlights, all of whom have performed incredible shows at the Edinburgh Fringe and had them disappear because they weren't filmed. We thought that was a bit of a shame, both for the comedians whose hard work was being lost and they were only monetizing their live events, and also for comedy fans who, if they had no way to watch the shows in person, could not catch up on demand. We have a background in digital media and comedy production, and so we wanted to do something about it, and we launched NextUp Comedy. It's a subscription video-on-demand platform, a lot like Netflix. However, unlike them, we specialize in stand-up comedy and can broadcast the real depth and breadth of the comedy scene better than anyone else. We have over 100 shows. It's £4.99 a month with a 7-day free trial to access, and we're currently available across devices. I think we've had a pretty overwhelming response, which I'll go to in later, but we've currently got about 4.5 stars out of 5 across both app stores. Comedians are really happy for us to be here because we're preserving their work, and comedy fans love the fact that we're giving them shows they otherwise would have missed. Essentially, what we're doing to the stand-up comedy sector is exactly what's been done to other traditionally live sectors with great success. As a bit of background into the subscription video-on-demand market, it's currently worth 19 billion globally and is set to increase by 5% every year. However, what's really key to notice is that's not just mainstream platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime. What's happening now in the subscription video-on-demand market is exactly the same thing which happened in the linear broadcast market in the 80s, where big mainstream platforms like BBC or CBS rather, were flanked by specialist channels who gave fans of those genres the depth and breadth of content they wanted. Channels like History Channel, MTV and Discovery had great success. The same thing is now happening in the subscription video-on-demand market, but at a much faster rate. There's Hey You, which specialise only in reality TV, Shudder for horror films, Crunchyroll for anime, and a whole host of others, but we are currently the only people doing it for stand-up comedy. As an illustration of how fast these specialist subscription video services are growing, they've increased over 1,000% across 6 years, as you can see from this graph. We launched NextUp Comedy around 2 years ago in beta mode. It was a real minimum viable product. We just had 20 shows. People had to pay in dollars, and we were given a small amount of seed funding to help launch. Because that went very well and we met with such an overwhelming response, we had more seed funding to develop the product right up to the point where we are now. That means we increased shows up to over 100. We upgraded our tech platform quite significantly. And what's really key is that we've got some really great findings. We've got an industry low churn of around 7%. We've got over 2,400 users, and that's with incredibly minimal marketing. And because our product is now ready for marketing, we've done our first paid sprints in terms of paying for Facebook ads, and we've got some very good findings where our cost per acquisition is £15, and we have a £45 lifetime value, so in a very strong position for scaling. It's worth noting as well, we brought in 140k worth of revenue this year, but that's not just from subscribers. We also brought that in through content licensing, whereby our original shows were licensed to third parties such as BBC and Audible. We also did deals with Virgin Atlantic, White & Mackay Whiskey. We were made Apple's App of the Day, and we were invited onto Amazon channels UK and US. So I think the response has been incredibly positive, and we're at a really exciting time in terms of our growth as our product's now ready. In terms of marketing, it's centered around awareness, acquire, engage, retain, advocacy, and I can dip into two of them very briefly. In terms of acquisition, we're doing paid ads across Facebook and YouTube. This is testing different ad creatives to different audiences. What we're finding is working is comedian-specific video ads on Facebook targeted at fans of their pages. And then on this organic customer acquisition front, because comedians and comedy fans love what we're doing, they promote us actively to their already existing social fan bases. We've also released affiliate schemes and refer a friend schemes to help facilitate this. On the customer retention side, we're really keen for NextUp not just to be a platform with users. We want to be a comedy movement where we have an active community of fans and members who play an active role in advising us on who to film next and giving us feedback on our tech product. So they love what we're doing, and we want them to be part of our journey, and that helps reduce churn. We also try and release a new show every week, and we have very strong customer service, and on top of all of that, we try NextUp to be available worldwide on as many platforms as possible, and next year we're talking to Samsung, YouView, and a variety of other providers to get NextUp into as many homes as possible. Essentially, what we want NextUp to be in the long run is a brand synonymous with stand-up, and I think when that happens, other revenue streams will open up, such as ticketing, merchandise, and some of the others you see there, all of which are complementary. In terms of the team, we've worked together for about 7 years. I come from a comedy production background and have launched a similar platform called Fringe Funder. Sarah Henley is our head of operations. She was on the BBC New Talent hot list, and she got a background in legal and banking. Kenny Cavey is our head of product. He is the former executive producer at Love Live and is a Drum Marketing Award winner. And we also have a really great advisory team behind us. Stuart Snaith is the former head of comedy at BBC Worldwide. Bruce Tuckman is the former president of MGM, both of whom have opened loads of doors to very high up network executives in the UK and the US. And also Bill Bungay is an investor along with Bruce, and he has founded one of the biggest ad agencies in the UK and has been really instrumental in guiding us on our brand development. In terms of our investment round,
Thank you for your pitch, Daniel.
You're
Siobhan, have you
welcome.
got any questions?
Well done, Daniel. It's a great pitch. But you've clearly got an interesting market there, and as you said, this transition into niche opportunities, I think, is powerful. Just want to go into two elements of your plan. The first is you've been very successful in growing your revenues already from the beta plan, 140,000. Tell us a little about that journey, getting the revenue in, because many companies in your position have not achieved that rate of growth.
Yeah, we were really lucky, I think, in the fact that firstly, it's worth breaking down that revenue stream. So around 70% of that is through subscriber revenue. And the way we got our subscribers by doing very minimal marketing was that the comedians promoted us to their existing fan bases, because for them, they're really proud to be on the platform. So, you know, a comedian comes on to us and they might have 50,000 Twitter followers and 100,000 on Facebook. That's free marketing for our platform when they say to them, my show's on NextUp Comedy, subscribe here with a free trial. So that really helped bring in the early revenue for very little spend. And then on the other side of that is content licensing, which made up the remainder of the revenue. And that was done slightly later on, and that was to people like BBC and Audible, who saw that we were showcasing and filming some of the most original comedy shows around, and they wanted to give that to their fans. So in small doses, we've also opened that up to non-competitors.
Great. And the second element is looking at I think, you're in an unusual position. You've got a 3x lifetime value to cost of acquisition. Mm-hmm. Do you see that as a continued trend? What's driving that low cost of acquisition versus the LTV?
The cost per acquisition, I think, is driven by the fact there's nobody else really doing what we're doing, and we think there's very strong demand for it. In some of our marketing tests, normally when you put more money into ad spend over the course of a week or a month, you'd expect to see the cost per acquisition to go up. However, the marketing firm we've used have said that there's no sign of that at all yet. So it's a very encouraging sign that we haven't even begun to touch the surface of that sort of thing. I think in time, and we have plotted for this in our forecast, we expect the cost per acquisition to go up. But at the same time, we think that our lifetime value will go up because we'll also have a much better platform and more content.
And you were saying that you're also benefiting from this sort of organic nature of the product base. Mm. Your consumers are effectively your own advocates as well.
Yeah, we've got a really lovely fan base. I think our comedy fans are incredibly passionate, and we're preserving the shows they otherwise would have missed, allowing them to discover new comedy. So I think they love it. I mean, it was formed because we are comedy fans ourselves at NextUp, and so I think we know what we're doing rather than a big corporation moving in to try and second guess comedy fans. I think we can really super serve them because we are the fans ourselves and we know what they want.
Fantastic.
What's your relationship like with the comedians?
It's very good. I think from the comedian side, we've basically gone to them, instead of letting your show, which you've worked incredibly hard for, disappear, can we record it, front the cost for that to happen to a professional standard, showcase it worldwide and split the revenue with you. So as a result, comedians are incredibly happy. We've got a long list, more than we can currently manage, of comedians who are interested to be filmed. And in addition to that, we really try to make them more than just our product, which we flog or something like that, which isn't very nice for us. We offer them free rehearsal space. We do like socials with the comedians, and we try and make them feel part of something, because I think we are trying to do something quite special here and create a bit of a movement. So as well as the comedians, we're also trying to get the fans in and make it something special.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming and pitching on the show today.
Thank you.
If you'd like to find out more about NextUp, you can do so on Angel's Den. So please go to their website and you'll be able to see more about NextUp.